video stream too. That's wonderful. That's a very pretty bracer. Yes.
I don't see a video stream at all right now.
Bracelets. I'm sorry. I like it though.
We'll be running full.
Yeah, I'm just taking the kiddos out for lunch.
Shut up, YouTube. Nobody gives a crap about you. How come the nighttime setting is gone? It was the best thing while I was doing stuff.
No, they're just not there.
It's not there. It's what
11, 18 to 18.
Where did your video feed go, Cody? Did you turn your webcam on?
What are you talking about? Yes, because we're streaming, and I can't have two things using it at once for some reason.
Oh, right.
That's the bracers. There you go. Show the world.
That's the Chicago way.
Oh my God!
Just that. You gotta come a little further. There you go.
That's what she said.
Perfect delivery.
I hope that we are recording.
Yes, we are alive on the internet. That's why I told Erin to show her bracers to the world.
Oh my God!
Welcome to the Twinstiq podcast, where we have cats who bark at dogs and wonder when racers show up at random.
Did you put? Oh, you did. You did.
Me?
I'm looking for the Twinstiq podcast.
You're looking for something that doesn't exist.
No, I found it.
Anyway,
it's not there.
I am Cody or Yoda, whatever you prefer. With me, as always, we have Jason Screwloose.
What's up?
We have the true legend killer himself, True Legend Killer. You imitating my cat? Are you imitating my cat? And, God, I forgot his name. It's been so long since he's been around. What's your name again? Wolf Grey?
Not Grey Wolf.
Not Grey Wolf. Alright, well.
You guys did an
Mr.
amazing...
Old Man no longer fishing, although he wishes
I'm
he
not
was.
fishing
Mr.
anymore.
Old Man
You
no
did an
longer-
amazing rep for me the other day. I laughed so hard when I saw that.
I've done many amazing reps for you, sir, I believe.
Yeah, this latest one was pretty good.
It was.
I can't find my way home. Please help.
Yeah, please help. Okay, so we are Twinstiq, and what we do is we do gaming news, although we've been terrible about that for the last month.
We also do non-gaming news, or we try to.
We do that.
We try
sometimes.
to. We are also...
And
always
We're going to
run
get back to hopefully doing that this week.
Hopefully.
And we run a thing called the Game
gonna
Club,
really
where
try
we
to.
play a game. Let's talk about the Game Club very quickly and get that out of the way. The game that we are playing for Game Club right now is Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons.
We just
So if you want to join,
Hammer Fight,
yeah, we just finished Hammer Fight. If you want to join us for Brothers, we'll be playing that for the next week, and we'll be discussing it at the end of the week on Sunday, 18th of September. This is a pretty short game, so we're just gonna go through the whole thing in one big go. Sometimes we
Yeah, it's
chop it
kind of
up
like,
into-
from the impression I get, it's kind of like Journey, where you can just play
Yeah,
through
you
it
can
in a
play
single
the whole
sit
thing.
through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Controller. Play with a controller. That was also
Play with
nice.
a controller.
100% play with a controller.
100%.
Get your Bluetooth hooked up, plug in your USB cords, get your AV N64 to USB cables hooked up, whatever you
goodness.
you want to do.
That'd be so cool. Are you kidding me? Is that real thing?
There's only one analog stick on the
There's-
N64
yeah, there's only
controller,
one,
so never
yeah.
mind. Don't do that.
Don't do that.
But yeah, that is a thing. People do that to play emulated 64 games all the time.
For what it's worth, this is the most games we have played on the Game Club so far. Our first attempt died, and now we're in our second attempt, and we've actually finished a round.
I would like to think that that's because of me.
Yeah,
It is,
probably.
it
Since
is.
I came
Yeah,
around.
yeah.
Yeah,
I'm totally awesome like
Well,
that.
we don't have Billy dragging us down anymore. That's not true. I miss Billy too.
that's not very nice.
Yeah.
I miss Billy.
What happened to Billy?
I don't know.
He got a
He was
life.
different.
He leveled
He
up.
was here for like a week or two, and then he was like, "Fuck you guys." And
He was with us for way
Not
longer
actually.
than that.
not
Yeah.
actually. No, I mean just in the recent, in our most recent go through.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Billy, come back.
So I am very, very sick, which means that someone else is leading a podcast.
Yeah.
Um,
What if we?
Anyone else? In
What-
fact, anyone else can lead the podcast. Let's start talking about what we were playing. I've been playing fishing. So I've been fishing, and
I've
that's
been
all I've
playing
done last month.
That's what he did.
I've been playing
I've been
fishing.
playing fishing. So, which of the fishing simulators on Steam did you pick up for like $50 for whatever reason? Those games.
I
Those are the
wouldn't
most
spend
expensive thing in
$50
the
on
world.
a fishing simulator.
Well,
Go
you
down there.
can, all right?
Unless-
You can get on
unless-
a boat in first person and take 5 fucking hours to just stroll along a flat plain that's called a lake and then throw lines into the ocean. Is that what you did?
Like, no, but okay.
Like, no.
Well, that's what you said you were doing, so I'm going to throw up fishing videos.
Okay,
That's
very
what
good.
you've been playing.
So I went off fishing,
Bass
and
fishing.
I'm back now, and I will be back in every podcast going forward until I have to go fishing again. So
Yeah.
there we go. That's what I've been doing. True Legend Killer, tell us about games that you've been playing. How about
Oh boy. Let's see. I started WoW.
that? Oh my
because-
goodness, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no. I got it for free. Like all current expansions, except for what just came out, was kind of an exclusive for being a Loot Crate subscriber. So I made a character and I tried it out for the first time, and I'm still new to the world of MMOs. I'm about to start another one because they just released Star Trek Online on PlayStation 4. I'm a huge Trekkie, and my girlfriend and I have both kind of agreed that we're going to play it together. So I'm
Okay,
hoping that
Oh my gosh.
Before you get stuck into Star Trek Online, just understand that everything you like and love and hold dear about Star Trek, they couldn't translate. So it is a game about shooting things.
I'm sure.
Well, that's...
So it's
Yeah.
I'm more going to be playing it where she's playing it probably for the gameplay. I'm going to be playing it to like see all the subtle hints and the lore and
Okay.
stuff like that. I'm still going to give it a shot because I've never really been big into MMOs. So it'll be interesting to see like an MMO light, how they
Yeah.
translated it to work on a TV and a controller.
From what I understand,
besides
that's not
that-
quite an MMO light game. Isn't that a pretty intensive MMO?
I say light because they translated over to TV, so it can't be overly complicated.
Well, Final Fantasy XIV is on console, and that is not a light
Oh.
MMO.
Yeah.
Anyways, I've also been playing Saints Row the Fourth.
Dope. How's that?
It's kind of fun. Like, I have no interest of driving anywhere because once you get superpowers, you have super speed and you have like, you don't have flight, but you have like gliding. At least where I am so far. I hope eventually you can just fly. It's a really cool. What if they did a Superman game? And yeah, I kind of hope it works. I don't know. I've been kind of enjoying it because it's kind of stupid fun.
Yeah, we did say because you were not really sure where to start and you wanted to know whether you should begin with the beginning, and we're like, no, just ignore those games.
Yeah, they don't matter.
And like I think that 3 and 4 are the good place to start with Saints Row. The good thing about Saints Row 4 is that it takes away the fact that you have to drive in a car, because in Saints Row the car controller is almost always universally terrible. So with Saints Row 4, the fact that they gave you superpowers made it so much better.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it because of that. Because as far as I'm concerned, like superhero games have never been that great, save
No.
for the Arkham games.
Right.
Arguments are really great,
Yeah,
but
the-
I mean, again,
And
you're
Spider-Man
Batman.
2,
You know,
Spider-Man 2, which is
okay, Spider-Man has had some decent games. Spider-Man 2,
Spider-Man 2 is what started the Arkham Combat thing, but everyone hates the Arkham games.
Shattered Dimensions was a really good
I
Spider-Man
still
game.
haven't played that one.
Web of Shadows was really good. I even enjoyed the first Amazing Spider-Man game, but the first tie-in game for the first Amazing
Ultimate Spider-Man was really good too.
Ultimate
the-
Spider-Man was
the
really
same
good.
web swinging stuff from 2.
X-Men Origins Wolverine was a better
that was
game
really
than it was
good.
a movie.
That was a really awesome game, honestly.
But all in all, superhero games have always been a little lackluster. So like I'm enjoying this. It's fun because they have like radio stations you can go to, and one of them is like really sappy rock and roll music that I actually really like. And it's really funny because like you have like Aerosmith from the Armageddon movie, and that literally plays during like the first mission of the game when you're trying to stop a nuke, and I was dying laughing the whole time.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, I it's pretty fun. You can choose to have Nolan North as your voice for the game, and it's literally like they have like 4 options for male and female both, and then a 5th option just by itself says Nolan North, and I'm like, who else would you pick? It's Nolan North. So it's clear that Nolan North had a fun time voice recording this game.
I think everyone had a fun time voice recording that game. All the voices are hilarious.
But with that being said, I also played Journey for the first 3 times.
Yeah.
Very good. You did it right then.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did. I even got the white costume.
Yep.
But really, really amazing game. Really makes you think. Really emotional for there being literally no dialogue. The way that multiplayer works in that game is really beautifully done. It was a fantastic game. Like I did tell Yoda, like the first time I beat it, I was really confused because I was like, like that's it, that's how it's ending, and then I got really upset, and then I went through immediately the next day and played through it again. I'm like, no, actually, I adore this game and I love everything about this game.
Have you ever gotten to actually interact with anybody? Have you joined?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny because it's been out for so long, but there's also so for anyone listening that has ever wanted Journey, it is the free game this month for PlayStation Plus. It kind of sucks for me because I bought it like 2 months ago on a sale for only like $5. But I mean, I would pay $15 for that game. Like seriously, it takes you maybe like two hours to beat, but I don't care. It was amazing.
Yeah. So even after all this time it's been out, were you still finding other people in your world?
I was, but I have a feeling now that it's the free game of the month for PlayStation Plus.
That's probably going to go up, yeah.
Yeah, more people will show up, because I think the first time I went through the journey, I only ran into one person, and they had no desire to stick with me.
Yeah, right.
The second time I completed it, like, I know there is a achievement, I know I call them achievements, whatever.
For beating everything with somebody?
No. Yeah, but you have to do it pretty early on in the game. I assume that you have to start by level 2 and stick with that same person all the way through.
I think so.
I don't know how that happens. It's going to be random luck, unfortunately, but I haven't gotten that. I think I ran into somebody around the 3rd level, and we stuck through until the end, and it turns to find out that it wasn't actually the same person all the way through. But I mean, I really enjoyed that game. So yeah, that's what I've been playing. Sorry,
That's cool.
It sounds like I've been playing a lot, but really, I started
only 3 things.
teaching. I started the teaching credential program, and I am constantly at a place in a high school. I'm a co-teacher, and taking classes during the week and doing homework, and I've been so exhausted and that's why I didn't play Hammer Fight. Like, I was just like, I don't want to spend the money, and I'm too tired, so I'll just watch the videos, and I did. So sorry about that. But
all right. Who's up next? Screw.
Well, I'll tell you. I understand.
About that.
I understand being busy. I haven't really got to play anything in the last couple of weeks. Really today and like yesterday, other than playing the Hammer Fight second part videos, I mean, my computer really hasn't even been on for the last couple of weeks. But I will tell you, I still really want to finish Song of the Deep. because I want to write about it. I started a little bit of an article, but I can't finish it until I'm done. So I need to be able to.
Really want to play that game. It just looks
it is
so
really
beautiful.
cool. It's really cool. I like it a lot. It's pretty chill. There's no sense of urgency. It's just like a fun exploration. There's a little bit of combat, and the story behind it, I think I mentioned before, is just really cool.
Sweet.
And I'm still playing a little bit of No Man's Sky here and there. I haven't really fired it up in a while. I'm not bored with it. A lot of people are really bored with it, and I get that, but I want to be bored with it.
I fire it up here and there, but I have a trainer that allows me to just bypass all of the crafting stuff that I don't like doing.
Yeah, right.
So I just fly around from planet to planet, and it's not too bad that way.
Yeah, I'm still enjoying that.
I think it's one of those things that because I got Yoda gave me his DRM free copy to try out when it first came out, and it was working really wonky for me.
Oh, yeah. I can change a setting on that. It's the G-Sync setting that you need to change.
Yeah.
I can change
But
that.
with that being said, like, I have every intention to eventually buy the game. But with that being said, like, I want to wait until it comes down in price.
Yes.
Because I feel like this game.
You're a big story guy, aren't you?
I'm a huge story guy.
I'm
like,
going
and
to
that,
100% wait till it's at least like $30, $20. 30
and
at the
there's no
mostest.
story.
Yeah.
I think with that being said, like, people will realize I'm a big story guy because, I mean, number one, Alan Wake for me, like, my choice for game club, once we get there, will be Alan Wake this time around. And for me, like, for a lot of people didn't like the combat elements, and that game is basically all combat. But for me, it was all about story. So, like, a game cannot thrive unless it has a good story, unless it's built on, it being like a puzzle per se. Like, I would have still played Portal if it didn't have an amazing story, because I really like the puzzles.
The core gameplay loop is so strong that it doesn't matter if there was a narrative or not. Just being thrown into those puzzles alone without any context would still be enough to make you want to beat them.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
So, that was the big thing. Like, I think I've mentioned it before on this channel, is I have played, I bought and supported Subnautica that's still in early access. And, there is a big lore around the game, but you have to seek out that lore.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, they're still making the game as it goes along, but it's like one of those good examples of an early alpha. But with that being said, like, that's why I was so into the concept of No Man's Sky, was I thought there was going to be a story of why you're doing what you're doing, and it looked like Subnautica in space, and all the things that I thought were going to be there, like you could build your own space stations, or you could build bases on planets that you really liked, and you could find your way back to those bases, would all be there, and it's not, from what I played.
It's not.
And
They are talking about adding this kind of stuff.
No, they haven't talked anything about that. That's the whole. That's the crazy thing about it. They've gone totally silent since the game came out.
I read some articles about how they're planning on adding things like the freighters and trade routes and stuff like that. It's stuff that should have been in the game originally, and it was actually even advertised. So that kind of made me angry that it wasn't there. But I still like it. I don't care. I really don't care. I bought this game to be bored with it, to travel around and do exactly what I'm doing, and I love it for that.
Yeah, I think it's fine for that. A lot of people like to go out and call them total liars, and kind of they certainly misadvertised the game, but I think they just got a little over their head in terms of what they wanted the game
I'd like
to
to just briefly interject here.
Yes.
And say that the thing about No Man's Sky is that they didn't talk about it at all. The internet frothed itself up into a frothing heap and said, this is what the game is going to be.
No, they did
why we're
talk
going
about
to...
it. There are plenty of videos where you can
Oh
watch
yeah,
Sean
there's
Murray
plenty of
contradicting
videos.
himself constantly, where he's like, "You'll be able to do this," and then it goes to the game of not having that. And
Yeah, that's not there. You're supposed to be able to choose sides and pick factions and join in space battles, and there's none of that.
Here's the most descriptive thing they've said about adding stuff to the game since launch. We're totally focused on customer support right now. Then we'll move on to improving and adding features to the game. So it's basically as vague as they've been about the game.
And that's the thing about doing customer support is, especially in a game where people feels that they were lied to, they'll be doing customer support forever.
Yes.
So
it had the biggest drop in owners on Steam Spy of any game ever. It's the highest percentage of refunded game of all time. Let's see.
I can believe that. I want to find out if that guy. Remember, we were talking about a guy who gave up every other game so that he could play No Man's Sky.
Yes.
Yeah.
I want to find out. I want to follow up with that person. I want to find out if they refunded.
No, don't get me wrong. There's people out there that, I mean, I'm sure if I owned it, I would still be playing it regularly. I mean, I still play Subnautica, even though, they just updated Subnautica and they added a huge new concept to it, the prawn suit, which is a deep sea diving suit. But until, for a while, there's not going to be anything new for the game until they release a new patch, which is fine because they're actively working on it. The thing with No Man's Sky is it feels like an early access game that is supposedly a completed game, and I'm not okay with that.
Yeah, it's definitely not.
And I know, like, Yoda, I know all three of you have your views on early access, but I really feel like I really feel like Subnautica is like one of those games that is doing early access right.
Yeah, it could be. Some do work out really well.
Where they're actively working on it and they're actively constantly bringing out content for it
and all that kind of thing. Yeah.
And even after the point where originally it was only going to be released on PC, now they're like, well, now we have to ship it towards Xbox. So, like, the Xbox updates, I guess, are coming before the PC updates because that's what Microsoft wants. But it's still not a huge wait.
Microsoft is abandoning the PC again, probably.
Yeah. Yeah, so anyway, I'll move on since we're still in what have we been playing.
Yeah.
I still haven't played this yet, but I did pick up a game called Jotun. It's a Norse mythology, like, hero story. I'm looking forward to hearing
you talking about that because I want to play Jotun.
Yeah, I guess it's been out for a little while now. It's fairly new still. I don't know when I'll get to any of this stuff, really. I've been really busy lately, but I do want to check it out. I picked it up. It was on sale.
Amazing.
Jotun, really awesome.
Yeah, it looks super cool. It's Aaron said, "Hey, have you heard of this yet?" And I looked at it. It was on sale, so I was like, "Yeah."
It sounds really familiar.
Yeah, it's pretty neat looking game.
It looks like a really chill Diablo. That's cool.
There are boss battles, and they are not as chill as that.
It's only boss battles, huh? It's one of those games like Titans.
No. There are bits in between, but the thing is that the boss battles aren't as chill as you think they are.
Right.
The first boss battle is. So the first boss battle is because Jotun is basically based on Norse mythology, and what happens is you start off with this guy he starts off really tiny and he moves very slowly, and as you hit him, he gets bigger and scarier. And so you have to actually adapt to what he's doing, which is pretty cool. So Jotun might be quite fun.
To listen to people talk about it, they seem to say that it's more about exploration than actual battles and stuff.
There are fights between the boss battles, but they're not like, they're not going to draw out the fights just because they're there.
Yeah.
It's just the boss battles are actual boss battles. And in between, you're doing a lot of exploring and finding out about the landscape because you are basically picking up your mythology as you go along.
Yeah, which I think is really cool because I like George. I'm into real big story stuff. Yeah. I dig that a lot. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. And then that's what I've been playing. Here we go.
Sweet. I haven't been playing all that much either. I've been pretty busy with work and stuff. hopped into a couple of rounds of Overwatch last night and a round or two of Dota. That's basically it.
Very good.
There we go.
Okay, so
dance, there it is.
we are going to talk about. Is anyone writing anything? Because we haven't talked about that in a while.
No.
I've
been too busy with real
working
life.
on compiling best games of 2011, so I need to actually start playing games from 2011.
What a weird place to start. Why did you pick Sony?
Yeah, right.
Well,
Well,
because
we-
remember how last year we talked about how Game Awards shows should maybe wait 5 years?
Oh, okay. So
Well,
you're tying it into
that's what I'm doing. I'm going to do a Game
I like
Awards video
Practice.
as if we had waited 5 years to actually judge games from 2011 and see.
that is a really good plan. I want
Yeah.
to see that.
Whether-
Theory and practice. I like the idea too. Yeah, I as I said, I started writing a little bit about Song of the Deep, but I want to finish the game before I actually put it in an actual article. So
I have
To me,
two
that makes
reviews.
sense.
Yeah.
I have 2 reviews that I'm supposed to have released a long time ago, so I'm going to work on them this week. I don't even remember what they were. It might have been Loom and something else. But I have 2 reviews that I'm supposed to have released long ago and haven't done that yet, so I'm going to clean that up and release them and then start writing things again. It's just
Alright.
this month has been very weird. Okay, so we have talked about that. Let's talk about news.
Done news.
Where should we even start with the news? Because all of this is about Sony.
Scroll.
Sony. Sony has lost its
Really
mind
messed up
completely.
this last week.
They have broken. They are. Oh my god. Okay, so let's start with the first news.
Let's start
right?
with the big thing.
The big
No,
thing.
let's start here first.
Okay.
That
He's
I
the
am a
console-
huge Sony
console
supporter. I am a huge Sony supporter. I have been for decades. And I am very hurt and very upset right now and feel like Sony has betrayed me. But anyways, sorry.
Okay, wait. You need if you're gonna do that, tell us why Sony has betrayed
Yes.
you.
What's the first stupid thing we should talk about?
Okay,
Well,
first stupid thing.
since
Here,
we-
no. I got
Okay.
this. I got this.
Got
I got this. Okay.
He
First
knows
things
what he
first.
wants to say.
First things first. We are going to tie this into Bethesda. First, I owe Bethesda an apology. For months now, since the launch of Fallout 4, there was announced that Fallout 4 was going to be the first game in Bethesda history to allow mods on console. Now, a month after launch, Xbox got mods. And although it's been kind of a cluster fuck for them, give or take, since all the problems have basically been mellowed out, it's been going great for Xbox players. However, PlayStation, on the other hand, has waited 4 months. And Bethesda's like, we're still working on it. There's problems with Sony, yada yada yada. Well, after Sony's press conference with their, and we'll get into this later, with their PlayStation 4 Pro and their PlayStation Slim, they came out and announced that Bethesda is not allowed to release mods on PlayStation consoles. Ever.
Yeah.
So, yeah, laugh it up, Chuckles. So, for those of us that at the time didn't have a computer that could support a Bethesda game, one of the big selling points to the reason of me getting Fallout 4 was the fact that we were finally going to get mods. I put in plenty of hours on Fallout 4 during the summer and before, a lot of hours. I never finished the main story because eventually they were starting to release DLC. I didn't buy the season pass because I was all holding out and waiting for mod support. Once mod support were to come, I was going to buy the season pass. I was going to finish the game. I was going to have a jolly good time. But now that Sony has done this, I am probably going to sell my copy of Fallout 4 on PlayStation and eventually get it on PC, because the nice thing about mods for Bethesda games is they make the game so much more enjoyable. because a lot of times the community helps to finish these games, because Bethesda always puts out very glitchy games because they undertake such huge projects. There's no way that they can make them come out of the gate perfect unless they take
Okay.
They
or
could if
6
they did their
years.
jobs properly. I mean, they could answer that.
Yeah,
could.
other companies do it just fine.
but
Right. They could if they hired QA, but QA is the department they're not interested in. So
Yeah.
QA just gets flushed down the
I'm
toilet.
actually expecting Bethesda to hop on the early access train because
Oh boy. I'm
they,
waiting for it to
they
happen.
don't want to put out money for QA. As soon as they're like, wait, we still don't have to do QA, but people will pay us to QA for us.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we're gonna do that.
yeah, that's gonna happen.
Skyrim 6 coming to early access. It'll be there for a year. I
Yeah.
guarantee it'll happen.
So
More. Oh
wanna-
god. It'll
I
be
want
there
to
for
tack
years.
on a little bit to what George was saying. I actually put a quote in here from Bethesda, and the quote is, "After months of discussion with Sony, we regret to say that while we have long been ready to offer mod support for PlayStation 4, Sony has informed us that they will not approve user mods the way they should work. And that means where users can do anything they want for either Fallout 4 or Skyrim Special Edition." So they more or less just threw Sony under the bus, and I can't.
And from what I understand,
But
I've been
also-
doing a
Can't really blame
lot
them
of
for that.
research about this. I've been doing a lot of
Okay.
research because the longest time I have been fully behind blaming Bethesda, like feeling that
Well,
Bethesda.
Bethesda deserves a lot of blame, though. They're
They really do. Bethesda
Yeah,
don't
very-
care about anything.
But
They care
apparently,
about
since the
dumping
get-go,
the.
PlayStation has they've basically put limits on everything that is supposed to be mods. Like they could only be like less than a gigabyte of mods would be allowed. It's just like all these things that
Yeah,
you know,
but
the
all,
sound
but
fi-
all of those rules help to make sure the game runs well and don't crash constantly like they do on Xbox. Because Xbox is like, let them do whatever they want. The only limits they have on Xbox are like no texture mods and models can't have more than a certain poly count, which makes sense because otherwise they wouldn't run it at all. But the games still crash like crazy because of the limits of the Xbox console. So it would make sense that Sony would look at that and go, Jesus Christ, that's a fucking
again-
nightmare over there. We need to put some limits on this to make sure this doesn't break.
Again, it is some of the fault of Bethesda because Bethesda don't test.
Yeah.
Like they
Yeah.
don't care. So you know, I'm willing to throw both Sony and Bethesda under the bus because I don't care about either of them.
To be fair, on Bethesda's side, though, it's completely impractical to think that they would. Obviously, they don't QA normally, but it would be impractical for any company to QA all the mods that are on a game like Skyrim. There are millions of mods. There's no way they're going to test them and go, all right, this works fine for PlayStation. It doesn't work for Xbox. There's no way that's going to happen. That's impractical. It has to be all or a set rule that Sony sets themselves.
Take months and months
But
to release them.
I think there's justified reason for PlayStation users to be upset about this,
yeah,
especially because it was promised. It was promised to us. They marketed. They marketed the new Skyrim that's coming out, the re-release. That it was going to have mod support from the get-go, not for PlayStation now.
Yeah, well,
So,
maybe not.
really-
Maybe not. I mean, this so far this is a dead issue. Air quotes so far. So they might work something out eventually. But as it stands for now for PlayStation 4 and
so
Special
again,
Edition Skyrim, Fallout 4.
I wouldn't get your hopes too high because this is Bethesda.
Yeah.
Sure.
I
right,
would just cut the cord right now. Don't have any hopes of mod support coming in the future. This was the experiment. The experiment failed. They're not
I
going
was
to try
ready
it
to
again.
come in and blame Sony here too because they're clearly idiots so far right now. But the more I think about it, the more I think that there does need to be limitations for the PlayStation 4 because if the game crashes constantly, then they're going to have people giving more death threats to modders, which isn't cool.
It's just stupid.
Like that's what was happening for Xbox. So they were like, "Why isn't this mod on Xbox?" And they're like, because it's a fucking high-res texture and you guys can't have it. Fuck you, go kill yourself. Like, I'm gonna come find your family and murder and rape you. Like, of course they don't want people to have that happen to them again from PlayStation. So they have to have limitations to go like, okay, look, here's what's going to happen. That way, people can't get upset when their fucking Xbox burns up or their PlayStation burns up because they installed a mod that shouldn't be on there.
Here's the thing for me, what I would have preferred then, is I would have preferred PlayStation to go through and been like, yes, we'll allow you to put this mod on PlayStation. We'll allow you to put this mod on PlayStation. Because then at least we get some of the mods instead of no mods, you know?
Well, yes, and that's what they were doing. They were trying to, and from the quote that Jason just read, Bethesda was saying, well, they wanted us to do that. And Bethesda was like, no, we want just anyone to be able to put on anything. And Sony was like, no, because that's going to break our shit. So that's technically Bethesda's fault because they're not agreeing to
user mods the way they should work.
That if they allow all mods to be open to the floodgates on PlayStation, it's going to break people's consoles. It's going to crash their games. And Bethesda was like, oh, whatever, just let them do it anyway. And that's not cool.
Yeah.
So... Yeah. There's blame on both sides, but I think in the end, Bethesda was kind of like, we don't agree to these terms, so we're not going to let it, so it won't happen.
Although I think this week it's
no compromise.
Is it easier to place the blame on Sony this week, and we can shift into that reason. Yeah. And I briefly touched upon this with the fact that Sony finally announced their 4K unit. And their slim model, and boy, was that another cluster.
Oh, they did announce the slim model.
They did.
Okay. I was under the impression they were still trying to keep that under wraps.
No, they have told us that they're doing the PS4 Pro, they're doing the Slim. And the only other big piece of news out of that was that they were going, oh, look, Mass Effect gameplay for 1 minute. And it was the stupidest press conference I've ever heard of. Just the
dumbest. Why couldn't they just done all this at E3?
Yeah, well, no, I mean, if they really wanted to put it out later, why didn't they just do it in press releases and pictures? Because, it was a giant, colossal waste of money. So here's Sony going, by the way, we're making a new sort of middle-of-the-ground console for the PlayStation 4 line. Because we think that PC player... No, that wasn't the way they worded it. They basically said that they realized that there are people who buy at the beginning of the cycle who maybe want a graphical upgrade in the middle of the cycle, so they're going to release a tiny little upgrade to the console to make it a little bit better so those people don't move to PC. But it's so stupid on every level. So what they did was they're like, here's the new console. Oh, by the way, the console doesn't have 4K... a 4K Blu-ray player, but it's basically the same console as the PS4.
Yes, the only difference is that there's a better graphics card. It's twice as better as the one that's in the standard PlayStation 4.
And by the way, when they say that it's a better graphics card, they're still not catching up to the PC people. No. So why bother?
It's crazy that they didn't try to partner with Nvidia because there's no way Microsoft will cough up the money to do that. And if they did, they could have had a fucking 1070 in there. There's a laptop with two 1060s in it, for God's sakes.
Yeah.
with that being said, so here's my big thing is, number one, their reasoning for that, the people that bought it at the beginning of the cycle, yada yada yada. I got a PlayStation 4 in the beginning of the cycle. I still think, largely speaking, I'm happy graphics wise for it. With that being said, if they had done something, and I know Alienware does this, I've seen it, and they call it, what is it, a graphics enhancer. So you have your standard laptop, and you plug this graphics enhancer into it, and it makes your graphics better. If PlayStation had done that...
Yeah.
No,
I call bullshit.
Here, hold on, let me see if I can find it, and I'll link it to you guys.
Okay.
Alienware graphics amplifier. Sorry, whatever it's called.
That's Alienware wanting more money. Is what it sounds.
But with
like
that being said, if it was something like that, where am I gonna post this? I'll post this in Slack.
Put it in Slack.
Here, yeah. if it was something like that, a peripheral that you plug in to amplify your PlayStation, instead of buying a whole new PlayStation, I would have been game for that.
Well, they could just do what PC does and allow them to be, module.
Yeah,
that's what I was advocating for forever. Oh my god, Alienware has giant sounds on their fucking website.
I know. I should have warned you guys.
The other part to this PS4 stuff is that they're talking about like backwards compatible games and stuff, and that they may not actually have 4K support yet, but that they will work on adapting them for 4K, and that the patches originally were supposed to just be, they were going to charge consumers for this, but that's not supposed to happen now. Although in a roundabout way, it will happen. Exactly that way, because what they want to do is charge the publishers of the titles, and then the publishers will then turn that down to consumers. So I kind of think that's some nonsense as well. I don't know why they can't just I don't see why they're not just doing it.
And I want to add, by the way, on top of all this stuff, if you go right now and you go and say, okay, well the ship date for this is November 10th, you paid $400 for a PlayStation 4 when they announced it. If you buy this tiny upgrade, you're paying another $400 for another console that's like a tiny upgrade. It's not worth it. Not really.
And that's the thing that's so insulting. Like, the Slim, don't get me wrong, I have no problem with the Slim. I've even thought about getting the Xbox One Slim. I think it's a very nice looking console. I think graphics-wise, it's going to be around the same as the PlayStation 4. I'm happy with that. Then I'd be able to play the Xbox games that I'm missing, Gears of War, Halo, stuff like that. But with that being said, now I'm actually interested what the Scorpio is going to be, and if they're going to be smart and they're going to give us a console that's finally fully upgradable, that we can take out components at will if we want to, stuff like that. Because I really feel the other thing with the PlayStation 4 Pro or whatever the hell they're calling it, is the fact that it doesn't have a 4K HD Blu-ray player installed into it.
Which is hilarious, because that makes me believe that all the games that you're running on the PlayStation Pro are probably running natively at 1080 and then they're being upscaled to 4K, so it's not even true 4K that you're gaming at.
Right, and that by itself is going to really reduce performance, the upscale.
Upscaling is really bad.
It just seems awfully silly, but
this external graphics card thing is basically just that. It's not a plug-in enhance your graphics card. It's a separate graphics card to use instead of the one that's in your laptop. So if you already have like a 1070 in your laptop, there's no point in ever getting this Alienware plug-and-play thing, because it's just a better graphics card that sits as a giant box on your desk.
Yeah.
That's really weird.
Now the upside, I guess, I don't know if you even want to call it an upside. I put it in here. It's not probably definitely not going to be as powerful as the Scorpio, but it probably will be less money, being as the Scorpio is being touted as it's going to be the most powerful console ever. There's no price point for it yet that I've seen. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong about that.
No, I have a feeling that we're going to learn pretty darn soon, because we're getting close to the end of the year, mind you.
Right.
And I don't know.
I think they're going to want it out before Christmas, but I don't know if that's going to happen.
I do too, but it may not happen that way, and that's I guess that's fine.
Well, I imagine they're trying to get it out to launch with the Morpheus, and yes, the Morpheus will definitely run a lot better on this thing than it will on standard PlayStation 4. But that makes me wonder, if you already have a PlayStation 4, how bad is the Morpheus games going to run on that then? Because I mean, everyone has said that the Morpheus games and stuff ran really well. Or I guess PlayStation VR games ran really well at the demos and stuff, but we didn't know if they were using this hardware or the old PlayStation 4 hardware.
Right, yeah, so, who knows if it's ready
unless
for
you're
release.
they're really dying to play Eve Valkyrie, there's really no point in getting this as an upgrade to your PlayStation 4, because you're then buying another $400 console to replace the one you already have, and then you still have to buy a $400 headset on top, because I haven't seen any bundles for both.
Yeah, no, that's true, not yet.
Yeah, that's one thing that's shocked me, is there hasn't been some sort of bundle release that you'll get the VR headset and the console,
I feel like that'll happen a month or two down the line. They're going to release it, and then you have to buy it separately. That way they can sort of maximize their
I
profits
agree.
off
I
it.
agree.
But
And
if
then
you're
pay
not
HTML.
interested in VR at all and do not have a PlayStation 4, just get a regular PlayStation 4. The extra $100 is not worth the performance that
Yeah,
it's
no, don't
it's
get me
not.
wrong. I still love my PlayStation 4. Like, there's a part of me, I know I'm getting into PC gaming, but there's still a part of me that prefers to sit back, have my laptop open where I can talk with my girlfriend or whatever, and then have my PlayStation going, you know?
Sure.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
it's funny though because a lot of people would think, well, I don't have a PlayStation 4, I should just get the Pro now because it's going to be better. Well, it's really not because your games don't run any better. They're upscaled
very
to
slightly
4K, so
better.
they don't even look better at all. I haven't seen a single developer be like, we're going to take use of this graphics card to actually make the game's performance better. No, they only care about the visuals because that's all anyone ever cares about for some reason. There's no reason to get one. It's
And
a
you know, who
total
knows?
waste.
Like the Scorpio itself coming out, the Xbox Scorpio, it might be. I mean, I've seen some tech on it, and it's at least twice as powerful. It seems like graphically, at least, it's at least twice as powerful as PS4 Pro.
Yeah.
However, I don't know its price point, but I can almost guarantee you, as far as the console buy goes, your money is going to be better spent there. That's what I would say.
Yeah, I mean,
it's going to be a tangible upgrade.
Yep.
Originally, I was thinking about if I get some extra money, I was thinking about getting a PlayStation 4. I mean, sorry, Xbox One Slim. They're releasing. I think I showed it to you guys personally, but they're releasing a really cool looking Slim that's a Gears of War. It comes with the new Gears of War. I thought that system looked really cool. It's red and it looks bloody and just really cool looking game system. But with that being said, after the lackluster appeal of this new stupid PlayStation,
I would 100%
4K.
wait for a Scorpio, and especially since Microsoft already has confirmed that they're going to have a 4K Blu-ray player in it, which means their games you could probably actually play at 4K. Hopefully, they actually go, look, we want developers to also put in options to play at 1080 at higher frame rates, so the games run better for people who actually care about that, because don't care about playing at 4K, especially since not many people have a 4K TV, so there's no point in even running the games at 4K.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, I think Sony is just tired of winning, and they're like, let's try to let them catch up a little bit. Let's let them catch up a little bit.
Yeah, I almost
thought this was like stupid.
The producers is what we were talking about the other day. Like,
I made the producer joke.
This is their springtime for Hitler in Germany. Yeah, like
we can make more money on a flop than we can
this
on.
This is insurance fraud. Like,
I almost feel like the only reason PlayStation is releasing a PS4 Pro is because Scorpio's coming out.
I feel like the only reason they're releasing it is because their PlayStation VR thing is coming out, and they don't want, because if they don't have a PS4 Pro out when the PS VR comes out, and all the VR games run like crap on a regular PlayStation, they can now go, well, it wasn't really intended for that PlayStation. You have to have a Pro to run the VR stuff really well. So then they lose, any wrongful misconceptions they might have had to anyone who thought they could just buy a PlayStation VR and run it fine on a regular PlayStation 4, which you should be able to, so it's still their fault. But now that they have this extra console out there, they go, well, he didn't get the new console, so don't blame us that your game doesn't run well.
It gives them a little deniability.
Which is, it's a seedy Ubisoft EA Activision business practice thing that they're doing. It sounds to me.
All right. Well, are we ready to move on to the last one here?
I am so ready. My body is ready.
I was thinking Gray's probably ready for bed. He's sick. Poor guy.
Yeah. All right.
Just got back.
Okay, so
Gray's like, I don't give a shit about PlayStation.
No, I do, because I think it's important that we have multiple things in the ecosystem.
Absolutely.
I don't want them to be closed things. That's the problem with Xbox and Nintendo, and they're all closed things. If they were open things, I'd be a lot happier with them. But oh well. Okay, so we've got news. The developer Interplay is selling more than 70 of its IPs, including Descent, Earthworm Jim, MDK, Clay Fighter, many more. Summing up, they said that the reason for the sales
Earthworm Jim too.
they want other companies to develop these classic titles into something more modern. That doesn't sound that way to me. That sounds like Interplay are in trouble.
Yeah,
Yeah.
If they actually
If
wanted
you-
that to happen, they would spend the money and do that themselves.
They would just
but
do
they
it, yeah.
probably don't
This
have
is-
the money, which is why they're selling
No.
all their IPs.
Right, because
now
it seems very fire saley. They're selling
Yeah.
70 IPs. That's not
Yes.
good.
classic ones, good ones.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was my thought too.
Can I just get a new Earthworm gem, please?
Yeah,
Well,
that would be great.
Well, you could,
You-
but what's going to happen is it's going to be terrible. I will almost guarantee that is
Yeah,
what will
whoever
happen.
buys it will be like, "Well, we have to make it modern and
Duke Nukem forever.
exactly."
Exactly.
But I mean,
But yeah, that's
what I
people
thought,
aren't
too.
buying developer. They're not buying Interplay's games, which is a bummer. But maybe if the dude who developed Earthworm Jim wasn't a raging homophobe, maybe people wouldn't feel less awkward about buying his
Right,
games.
yeah.
So, I don't know.
Is
I have
that
mixed
true?
feelings
I've never
about
heard that.
Yeah, he's a giant asshole.
Huh.
Um,
That makes me almost wish I didn't like Earthworm Jim.
Well, okay, you could
Marlon
open up
Brando is
the
a giant asshole too, but I still like his movies.
Yeah,
so.
right.
Yeah.
You could
Fair-
open up
fair
the
point.
can
people
of
can be
worms
assholes and
about,
still make good things.
right. You can open up the can of worms about do I like the guy or do I like what he does? I don't like Orson Scott Card because of who he is, but I'm willing to, and I won't say this out loud. Everyone listening on the internet, stop listening for a minute. I'll pirate his books.
Yeah,
You bastard.
Oh yeah,
I know.
Ender's a game guy too, right? Everyone seems to like those.
Yeah,
books,
that's-
but
that's
he's a giant
Orson
dickhead
Scott
towards gay people.
He is that he doesn't like gay people, and he's very vocal about it. And it's stupid because they're not hurting him; they're buying his books. Why?
I know, right?
Oh, well.
Yeah. Well, it sucks because buying his books are actually detrimental to the trans or the the gay community because he actively
Yeah,
donates
right,
to people
'cause-
to take
yeah,
bills
he
and
does.
reverse laws and stuff, which is
yeah, he does.
deplorable,
He's a
but
crazy
that's
person.
beside the point. I wish Interplay wasn't in trouble. That's the
Yeah.
takeaway from this. I like a
Yeah.
lot of their
Yeah.
games, and it's a bummer.
I mean, okay, so the trouble started for Interplay long ago because they basically up and sold Fallout to Bethesda, which was something they should never have done. But they wanted someone to modernize Fallout, so they went, okay, we'll give it to Bethesda. Let's see what happens. And now there's this giant split in the Fallout community: people who play 1 and 2 and really like those, and people who play 3 New Vegas
3
and
New
4
Vegas.
what if
and
I
really
also,
like those.
What if I like 1, 2, and 3?
Then you're special because
Yeah.
there's
I'm
not a lot of you
special.
around.
The
Yeah,
it is worth noting too that New Vegas probably the best of them is not actually a
yeah.
Bethesda game. It's what is it,
No, it's
Crystal
not.
Dynamics that does it?
yeah.
Obsidian.
Is
I
that
think so. It was
Really?
Obsidian.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Obsidian did New Vegas, and it's actually
Obsidian.
you would probably like New Vegas, Gray, if it wasn't. If you played it on easy, you don't really have to play it as a shooter at all because it
Okay.
has a lot more situations like you would find in Fallout 2. Than,
Right,
Than
yeah.
3 does.
I never
personally
played-
like 3 the most because I like the blend of everything.
I
Right.
never played. I never played New Vegas either.
Oh,
Now I
really?
kind of wish I had.
No, it's good.
New Vegas is good. I didn't-
Because when New Vegas came out, I thought it was just basically an expansion they were making us buy for Fallout
Yeah.
3.
no,
I didn't
that's-
realize.
that-
I didn't realize that it was a full game.
That's
It's
the
a
thing,
full
though.
game. The problem I have with it is that it's somewhat linear in terms of the areas you kind of have to go to first. But because of that, it tells a better story.
Yeah.
Right. And I mean,
A more
unfortunately,
focused
it's
and deliberate story.
to be fair to True Legend Killer. Unfortunately, that's how they marketed it. It
Yeah,
was like this is
That's
like a
true.
thing that is bolted onto Fallout 3 because it was Fallout 3 New Vegas, and people were like, oh, it seems like an expansion. So either people bought into it wholesale and went, oh, that seems awesome, or they're like, this is weird. Why are they doing this?
No, Obsidian needs to do that again with Fallout 4. I wish they did something like that with Dragon Age because they did it. They did KOTOR 2. They did New Vegas. Then they moved on to Pillars of Eternity, and they're funding their own games, and they're really good too. But
And they're good. Yeah, I mean, I'm happy that Obsidian are making their own games now.
yep, they needed to.
I do think that Obsidian has the same lineage as it always did, which is problematic for Obsidian, where they don't always finish their projects. So sometimes, like with KOTOR 2, in order to have the proper KOTOR 2 experience, you
But
had to actually get
the
fan
thing
patches.
about KOTOR
That
2
was-
and even New
that-
Vegas, KOTOR 2, they got 6 months of dev time, so they had to reuse
Yeah.
assets as much as they could from
Right.
KOTOR 1 and
Yeah.
write something as quickly as possible. And
Yeah.
I think they designed better worlds in KOTOR 2. I didn't like the story as much as the first KOTOR, but I
Okay.
like the environments more. And then New
Okay.
Vegas, they had a pretty short dev time too. It was what, a year and a half for
Yeah.
them to do that. So they're always really rushed by big publishers,
Yeah.
which is why they went the Kickstarter route, so they can actually take their time. And it's
Right,
pretty
and make
clear that
the
they
game made.
get a really good game when they do that, because Pillars of Eternity is the best game that they've ever made.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
very good. It is very good.
It is. Okay, so do we want to talk any more about this whole Interplay fire sale?
No,
It's
just-
sad.
it's
That's
sad.
what it boils down to.
Yeah, it's-
I hope
I thought it was newsworthy.
if they do this, I hope that they're doing it to get enough money to put something into a brand new IP that
Yeah,
hopefully saves the
that's-
company.
that sells
like a,
well.
like a Final
Yeah.
Fantasy type thing, where it was like they're calling it Final Fantasy because this is probably going to be our last game, or we're going to
Yeah.
go under type of deal. So
And then it does really well, and then they're
Yeah.
fine. I hope
yeah,
so too.
I hope that's what happens. They probably just need the money to fund whatever project they're going to put their things in. I don't ever want to see them lose jobs, so hopefully they
Yeah.
get enough.
Interplay have been
Yeah, and they've been
Interplay have
around
been
forever.
for a
They've been
long
around
time,
a long
yeah.
time.
Yeah.
they have.
They,
You know,
they,
they-
would,
they
they,
were-
wouldn't, they wouldn't be doing
long
this for no
time.
reason. I think they've got an idea. of
Yeah,
what
they
to do.
did a lot of stuff with Silicon and Synapse, which later, by the way, became
Became Blizzard.
You know,
Yeah.
so
Yep.
See, now the thing about this situation is it reminds me a little bit of THQ, because this is what THQ did.
Well, THQ, they said we're bankrupt, we're done, we're going to sell all our IPs
Yeah.
to mitigate our losses.
Now-
That's not what's happening here. They're saying we're going to sell all our IPs, we're not shutting down, we're just selling all of our IPs.
Yeah, but you see, that seems weird in terms of messaging. That just seems like they're trying to put out the giant fire by, worrying about little fires, and they're saying,
But
"Don't worry, we're still here, but we might not be in 3 months."
Yeah,
Well,
right. Who
let's talk
knows?
about what could have happened on Earth 2 then, all right? If THQ
Okay.
had done what they did maybe like a couple months or maybe even a year earlier,
Oh,
did
yes.
something like this
Yes.
where they say, "Okay, we're getting a little bit in the red. Let's sell all of our IPs. Let's make a new one.
Yeah.
Let's make a game and see how it does."
Right.
And then,
Yeah, maybe
then
THQ
they,
would still be with us.
maybe they'd still be with us, And
Yeah.
I think it's smart of them to do this instead of go, okay, it's too much, we have to file for bankruptcy and sell everything to
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
mitigate our losses. Because that's what
'Cause,
THQ
like, one-
did.
Right, and one of the things THQ did almost just before they started filing for bankruptcy was they went to Humble Bundle and said, "Hey, help us," and that didn't help because it didn't sell enough copies of their
Yeah.
games. So, oh well.
Yeah, so
I don't want.
It's
I
sa-
do
it's,
not
it's
want
sad
Interplay to
news,
die.
but it still speaks
No.
to Interplay's.
Interplay's one of the last actually good companies out there.
Yeah, and it speaks to their foresight, I think, for them to do something.
Yeah,
like,
to
like
say,
this.
okay, we are in trouble. Let's try and
Yeah,
do
let's
something.
do something about it now before it gets really bad and we have to shut down.
Right. Yeah.
So
Okay.
good luck
Um,
with that, guys. Hopefully you land on your
Yeah. We don't want you to die.
Yeah.
So there you go. Do you actually want to talk about your writing for games is difficult because we might have time for this now?
Probably not.
Okay,
I was
wait.
thinking of moving on to
No, no.
releases.
Yeah. Let's talk to True Legend Killer. How are you doing for time?
Technically I should be working, but I'm here.
Oh,
so-
okay. Well then, okay. So what we'll
I
do?
mean,
we should bail.
It is
we-
what
we-
it is.
we
In the
have
background,
been.
this whole time in the background, I've been playing Saints Row the 4th.
Very good.
So like,
Very
I'm
good.
just running around blowing up stuff.
That
Like,
you're working, TM.
yeah.
Okay. So what we will do, I'm sorry we keep on doing this. We have a podcast topic that we haven't talked about in 6 months.
it needs to be its own podcast. Like,
It
it
does.
really is.
We'll do
Writing-
a special
Yeah,
episode.
you guys can
Right.
do a non-stick one kind of there. Well,
where we
wouldn't
can
really
get that one out of the
non-stick,
way. So it's a
but
topic.
I
that
have
we
no interest in that subject at all. So whatever.
Oh, very good.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. We'll
It's
see.
writing for games is difficult, and we just haven't gotten there, so we're gonna skip that. I'm gonna talk about new releases. So we got a whole list here. Yoda, have you got footage that you can play while I do this?
I have footage for games that I felt like needed footage. Well, a lot of those
Okay.
seem to be games
Alright.
that are releasing to new platforms and stuff, so I don't have it for everything. So read off what you
Okay,
got. And
This looks like it's in date order, but I'm not sure because I
it
haven't
should be,
checked out on.
yes.
But we have Iron Fish for PC. God knows what that is. That's September 12th.
I
We've
had
got
yes, September. Okay, it is September 12th. Iron Fish. I have gameplay footage for that. You want me to read the description? Yes or no?
Oh, sure. Go ahead.
Iron Fish. Oh crap. Oh, there we go. What will a simple Mayday call bring to the surface? Iron Fish is a psychological deep-sea thriller that challenges players to navigate the dangers that lurk at the bottom of the ocean, where humans are no longer have the upper hand.
Very good. Okay, so
It's
if you
a-
want to play a foot,
Yeah, it's
go
a
ahead.
first-person exploration game in the depths.
Horror game,
Yeah,
right.
horror game. Looks interesting enough. Sure. That's that.
I got Bioshock The Collection, which is Xbox One, PS4,
Ah.
PC, September 13.
Yes.
I have no interest in this, but good luck
I'm
to everyone
surprised
who
it's
does.
taken this long to have a Bioshock collection, but good on you for those who like the first two Bioshock games.
Okay,
only
so
like
I
the
think-
third, so.
I think that the reason why it took them so long is because they wanted to close off the franchise. And they've
Well,
done
yeah,
that
it
with
probably includes
Infinite.
all their expansions and DLC and stuff too. I
Yeah.
imagine.
Do you
Right.
think that actually means that it's closed off? Like there's going to be no more Bioshocks?
I hope.
I'm
so.
kind of sad if that's the
I mean,
case.
you can't really go. You can't really top what they did in Infinite. So I don't want them to try.
Yeah. And I think Levine wants to write different stories, so there you
Yeah,
go.
and I want him to do that too because he's an incredible writer.
Right. We have Dead Rising 2 for the Xbox One and PS4. That's September 13th.
Both Dead Rising 1 and 2 are finally coming to PC. It's been fucking forever, long overdue. Those games are great. I have not played the third, but the first two are excellent survival games. I know I talk a lot of shit about survival games all the time, but I like those games because they're like Majora's Mask, where, alright, you've got this much time to play the game, so you're not going to see everything when you first play
I
it. Good
didn't
luck.
like
Have fun.
I didn't like that.
Oh, I like that because then it forces you to actually play it again, and you probably will fail the first Dead Rising. You won't make it. You won't beat the game. You'll get to a point where you go, I lose no matter what I do. But now I know where stuff is in the world, so if I start over, I'll have a better idea of what to do. I like that kind of stuff because it keeps the longevity of the game going.
Here's my thing with Dead Rising, and it's one of the reasons. So I played Dead Rising 1 when it first started.
I did too.
I got to a point where I don't like being forced into a timetable, and that's what the game is.
Yes, I
Where
like
literally-
that because then it makes you.
Okay,
It makes you,
shush, shush. What I'm trying to say is, I remember keeping on the timetable pretty well. And then for some reason, I entered an area into the game, and it literally skipped forward the game like 8 to 12 hours. And because of it, like, I had a friend over at the time. He's like, "You're not supposed to encounter these enemies for a long time now." Like, it screwed up the game, and the fact that it allowed me to even do that threw me off the game completely. And I had no reason to want to go back to the game. And I realize people like that.
I don't know. I like roguelikes, and I never even considered relating it to that, but that's kind of what it is. It's like a roguelike where you go in and you go, okay, I've done what I can. That life is gone. Let's start over from scratch and try a new life with the knowledge I have now. I like that stuff, and it's that, but a zombie game.
Right. Okay, can I move along?
Yes.
No.
Okay. All right. So there's Dead. I'm surprised actually that Dead Rising is coming to PC because it doesn't say so on this list. But anyway,
It is coming to PC. It should be on that list.
okay. It's not. Dead Rising 2 off the record, which seems like a expansion. Xbox One and PS4. That's also
Dead Rising,
September.
Xbox One, PS4, PC, September 13th. It says it right there. Read, get glasses, old man.
No, it does not actually. I'm reading the chat.
I'm
And
looking
it's
at
not-
the chat.
Oh well, then you must have better eyesight than I do. Don't Starve Together, PS4, September 13th. We all
That's a
know
great
about Don't
game.
Starve
I
Together.
just copied and pasted it. It's right there.
Oh well, then you just copied and pasted it again. Now I need to scroll up. Where was I?
Oh man.
Yeah,
Nope.
Don't Starve Together.
Still
That's
not
fun. It's
there.
coming to PS4. Congrats.
It's still not. It doesn't say Dead Rising 2 off the record PC. There's no PC line in there. Oh well.
Yes, there
Moving
is.
swiftly along.
I'm looking right at it.
Very good. I'm glad for you. Okay. Make you labyrinth of death. The Vita is not dead because it's on that.
Yeah, I
September
skipped that
13th.
because it's a Vita game. I don't have footage for that.
Oh, don't worry, it's alright. NASCAR Heat Evolutions,
I have footage for
Xbox One,
this. Do we want to
PS4,
hear the
PC,
description?
September 13th. Sure, go ahead.
It's a NASCAR game. Races your favorite NASCAR Sprint Cup Series drivers across all 23 licensed NASCAR tracks in stunning HD quality with incredible detailed environments. Get ready for the most fun you've ever had with a NASCAR game in years!
This sounds unfun. Okay, moving swiftly along.
Turn and left.
Never
Making
ending
a
night.
left turn! Never Ending Night.
Never
This game looks
Ending
kind
Night.
of cool. What's that coming out
PC.
on?
Wait,
September
is that
13th.
anything like Never Ending Nightmare? Because that game.
No, it is not.
It's
It
not,
is just
it's
never
not-
ending
it's,
night.
it's a 2D adventure game, as the looks of it. Never Ending Night is a 2D side-scrolling exploration game. Like I said, as the player, you roam through a mysterious world you have no recollection of. Dun-dun-dun. Traverse through a broken world and survive through the mechanical monstrosities that have managed to survive the calamity. Dot dot dot.
The climate isn't what they call the people in oh god, what was the name of that game? God, one of my favorite games. Hold on, I gotta look this up.
Yeah, sure.
Shut
I'll
up.
carry on.
While
That's
you
fine.
look that up, let's move on to what else is coming out, Gray.
NHL 17, Xbox One, PS4, September
It's a
13th.
sports
I'm just gonna
game.
move
Bastion!
along.
That's it.
Bastion.
Okay, very good.
Bastion.
Pac-Man Championship Edition 2, Xbox One, PS4, PC, September 13th.
It's a Pac-Man game.
It's a Pac-Man game. Psychopaths Mandatory Happiness.
Psychopaths
PS4 and
Mandatory
the Vita,
Happiness
September
is
13th.
a game with this video. It's an anime? Question mark?
It sounds like it given the title. Psychopaths Mandatory Happiness just screams anime.
Visual novel
Sounds-
game.
Psychopaths. Yeah, Psychopaths is, and it's not going to be a game. It's a light novel, so you'll watch it unfold. I really doubt there's going to be any gameplay.
Alright.
Yeah, I
moving
don't
on.
think so either.
Fuck that. Who cares?
Pro Evolution Soccer 2017, Xbox
It's
One,
a
PS4, PS3,
sports
360,
game.
PC. It's surprising it's on PS3 and 360. They desperately want to move those. I mean, that just seems bizarre. Recore Xbox One, PC, September 13th.
That game looks really cool.
This was
Yeah,
one
that
of
does
the
look really
games
fun.
Yes.
that was touted for cross-play with the Windows Xbox One
yes,
thing.
it is going to be
So-
on Windows 10 only, but
Yes.
it is the first game of Microsoft's new policy of any game released exclusively on Xbox will also come to PC.
Will also be
which
on
is
Windows 10.
Super
right.
smart, so that's awesome.
I think
It's
it's a
gonna
cool
help.
idea.
Yes,
It's
and
gonna help
only
them
going to be
move
$40
Windows 10.
because it's a new IP, and
Yeah.
they think they should charge less for that. I don't remember if
Right.
that was Microsoft's decision or the developers.
No, I think it was Microsoft's division.
Yeah, I
Just-
remember reading about this. It seems like we mentioned it in a podcast sometime.
Yeah,
ago.
we
did.
did. In fact,
was
the
about a
last
month ago.
podcast.
Hopefully, that's actually
Yeah.
the reason the game isn't an hour long. But yeah,
Right.
it looks
Okay.
cool. I think it'll be fun. I may
I
have
think the
to
game looks really
reinstall
cool.
the Windows Store, but we'll see.
Oh no.
I know
I hope your
Microsoft.
Windows
I'm
Store
not
is great.
supposed to be able to do that, but I figured it out anyway. Fuck you.
Rive, Xbox One, PS4, Wii U, PC, September
Rive
13th. I have
is-
no idea what Rive is.
Well, I'll tell you, Gray. Just
Please do.
Give me half a second here.
Sure thing.
How would you like
I
me to
don't
tell
know.
you? I'll tell you in an annoying voice. Rive is
Sure.
the metal-working robot hacking shooter you've been waiting for. This 360 degrees shooter platformer hybrid lets you choreograph a dance of destruction and insanely spectacular battles and set pieces.
Very good. Okay.
And
Slain
after you're done,
Hell.
he's going after He-Man, this Skeletor fellow that we
Oh,
were just talking to.
If that's what that voice is,
Right,
that sounds
Yeah, it is. That
complimentary,
is.
I
That
suppose.
almost sounded like Skeletal.
Yeah, almost being the key
Yeah.
word.
Hey, man!
Yeah.
Slain Back from Hell, PS4, September 13th.
This game looks
Um,
very metal.
Right. Just want a title. That's what it sounds like.
Back from hell, a heavy metal
There we go.
combat, puzzle elements, and gore galore. Stunning visuals, a trill of gameplay accompanied by the most metal soundtrack you've ever heard.
Yeah, we just
Or-
lost all our viewers.
Yeah.
Yes, we did. I'm sure we did.
All two.
The Witness Xbox One, September 13th.
It's a
I'm
puzzle
surprised that didn't
game.
actually just. Yeah, but I'm surprised that didn't launch like right out the gate on the Xbox One.
Yeah, I
Well,
don't
it
even.
didn't
I don't
because
that's
know why.
weird.
developing for consoles costs a fuck ton of money because they're assholes and charge for no reason. So
Right.
there you go.
Conga Master PC, September 14th. I have no idea what that is.
Well, I'll tell you, Gray.
Sure thing. Just not in a Skeletor voice, please.
Yeah, let's.
It's a ridiculously fun conga dancing arcade game. Can you make the longest conga ever? Oh
yeah.
my god, it is an 8-bit disaster, and yep, you just collect people. It's Snake. It's fucking Snake
With Snake.
with 8-bit
Oh.
graphics.
Okay. No one needed that in their life. Event Zero, PC, Mac, September 14th.
We're gonna get sued one day.
No, we're not. Event
So
Zero.
tell me about Event Zero. Sounds like a horror game.
No, Gray. Event Zero is a sci-fi narrative exploration game where you build a
So it's a horror
relationship
game.
with a lonely
Great.
spaceship computer to get you home. You
Yes,
fall in love
horror
with the
game.
computer, Gray. It's her,
Oh,
right? It's the
okay.
movie Her with
All right.
Joaquin Phoenix. That sounds
Oh.
actually, that sounds kind of cool, actually.
It does. All right. Sorcery Part 4, The Crown of Kings, PC, Mac, iOS, Android. Sorcery is a very old, venerable pen and paper, not a pen and paper game, a game book that is super hard. This is the fourth part. They've been sort of slowly dribbling out bits of sorcery. It's, if you want to read a lot, play sorcery. If you want to die a lot,
What
play
if
sorcery.
I've never heard of sorcery and I just jump in on this one? That is described as an epic adventure through an open world of monsters, traps, and magic. Infiltrate the fortress of sorcerers and create your own unique story where every decision you make is remembered no matter how small. Cheat death, uncover ancient mysteries, and discover the King of Crowns if you can.
That is exactly what it is. It is an open world game, and you can more or less do anything at any time. But the problem with sorcery is that you have to build up to things. And so if you hop in at part 4, you will die a lot more.
Okay.
Instead of just dying every now and then, you'll die a lot more. Okay, so we have, that's September the 15th. Adrift, Xbox One, September the 16th. I don't know what Adrift is.
It came out a long time ago. It's getting ported to whatever you just said.
Oh, at the Xbox One. Okay, fair enough. Dragon Quest 7 for the 3DS. This
It's
September
a
16th.
3DS game.
Yeah, that's weird. I mean, we haven't had one of those in a long time in this list, so that's
Yep,
interesting.
It has been a while.
Dragon Quest is Dragon Quest. I mean, if you like it, then you might like this. But either you are in love with the franchise and you want to buy all the games because
Or you haven't played
guy,
it at all, like me.
I don't think Dragon Quest 7 is a good place to start because it's not the most.
I'd imagine not.
It's not. No, well, they're like Final Fantasy. They
Yeah,
don't
they're
actually
like Final
follow
Fantasy.
another
Oh,
story.
okay.
They don't tie together.
There's no tie into any of the previous games. But the thing is that 7 was released several years ago.
Oh.
9 was the last one that was released, and 9 is a lot easier to play because it's more modern. So if you have a 3DS and you are interested, maybe look up gameplay before you play. If you liked the art style of the guy who did Dragon Ball Z, you will like this a lot because it's that guy. He does all the art for Dragon Quest.
Maybe I need to find this thing you're talking about, then.
Oh, sure. But again, I mean, it's the kind of thing where I definitely recommend that you look at gameplay. All of the Dragon Quest games feel very similar and play very similarly. So you won't have that kind of problem. It's like Final Fantasy, where all they really do is shuffle the worlds around and the battle system around a little bit. But otherwise, every system is basically the same. You know, your guys are black mages, and they have black magic spells and that kind of thing. So I'm inclined to say that if you are interested, maybe watch gameplay, but don't buy it unless it's a sale.
All right.
Dead Rising for Xbox One, PS4, and PC.
And what, Gray? And what, Gray?
Wait, we were talking about Dead Rising 2, weren't we? Yes, we were.
Is 2 not coming on to it?
No.
Maybe isn't.
No.
It's just the first one.
Bummer. Well, the first one's better anyway.
I skipped the line there. That's
first one
that's
has a better
why.
story. First one has
I
like, way
accidentally
more endings.
I accidentally skipped a line because where the top between Bioshock and Dead Rising 2, there was Dead Rising itself, which is Xbox One, PS4, and PC. That was why I didn't see that.
I wonder
Sorry.
how much
Yeah.
they're gonna charge for that on any of those things.
I imagine that they're probably going to be $20, and then they'll drop the price over
Oh,
time.
Dead Rising 2 is already on Steam, and it's $20.
Okay, yeah, that seems
Yeah, there we
about
go
right.
then.
There wasn't a date in the last Dead Rising, so I'm just going to assume that you copied and pasted, and it's the same date.
Yeah,
September the 13th.
I copied and pasted it to show you how wrong you were, but I didn't realize you were talking about different games.
All right.
So we're both
And that
wrong.
is that kind of
I'm Sony, you're Bethesda. That's what's going on here.
That's what's happening.
That's true. I am Bethesda because currently I'm broken and no one wants to fix me. So that was the podcast for this week. Thank you so much for joining us. I've been Grey Wolf. I've been very sick. I've had True Legend Killer with me. Say goodbye, True Legend Killer. Oh, I meant to talk about this. Sorry. I'm not saying goodbye. Why
Oh, boy.
we were talking about, and it'll be a very quick discussion, I promise. We were talking about Dead Rising and about the fact that it was on a timer,
Yes.
and you mentioned Majora's Mask.
Yes,
I
my
haven't
favorite
talked about
Zelda
this
game.
on the podcast, so I may as well talk about it now.
All right,
I
sure.
hated Majora's Mask for two reasons. The one reason was that it was super scary because every day the moon came closer and you could look into the sky, and it was just frightening.
Yeah,
as all
it comes closer as the time gets. If you just let the time sit there and just not do anything,
And you don't
it gets
get
bigger and bigger
time.
over time. It's terrifying. It's great.
And the other thing that goes along with that is that the music gets ever more wonky as the days go along. And by day 3, it's just flat out unlistenable music. It's just creepy. So I never actually. I understand that what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to find a Temple of Time. And the first thing you're supposed to do is start reversing the days so you get back to day 1.
Yep.
And then you start planning your trips around the 3-day window.
Didn't figure that out the first time as a kid. Did
No.
not.
And so the first thing that happens to me playing this game is the 3-day timer wears out. And I get to day 3 and I'm already creeped out. Okay. I'm already quite creeped out. And then the moon crash lands into everything, kills everyone. So I'm like, I'm putting the console off. I'm walking away. I'm never playing this game again.
See, I love that game because I liked Castlevania on the NES, and that game is basically Zelda meets Castlevania, and it's awesome. That's why it's my favorite Zelda.
See, if I could have found a way to hack the console, not the console, the
To
game,
get rid of the timer.
so that I would stay on day 1 forever, I would have been fine. But that breaks the core gameplay loop of that game.
Once you beat the 3-day part, it turns into a really, really epic game too. But a lot of people definitely get really stressed out about the 3-day timer thing. I did too, but I like that in games.
Okay. So that was all I was going to add. Sorry. Does anyone else have any thoughts about the Majora's Mask that I just talked about?
No.
I love Majora's Mask.
Okay, that's surprising.
I started it and I just.
Okay, with that being said, the reason I love Majora's Mask is it's so freaking dark.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh my god, it is
like,
so dark, and it has some of the best side quests that are so dark, and it's just. Don't get me wrong. Like for me, A Link to the Past and Ocarina of Time, and even Twilight Princess are my favorites.
I still haven't played Twilight Princess. I really need to do that.
Play Twilight Princess. It's
I know.
fun.
I need to. I have a GameCube, but I just don't have that game.
Yeah, my favorite is A Link to the Past. I still have my Super Nintendo for that, basically.
Okay, so let's try that again and actually wrap up the podcast. I have been Grey Wolf, and I have had True Legend Killer with me. Say goodbye, True Legend Killer.
Stay geeky, Internet.
And I've had Mr. Yoda with me. Say goodbye, Mr. Yoda.
Goodbye, Internet.
Mr. Yoda. And we have had Mr. Skoulous with me as well. Say goodbye, Mr. Skoulous.
Goodbye.
Bye, folks. Thank you. We will see you next week. Remember, we are playing Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons, so if you want to join us for Game Club, that's where we'll start off next week on Sunday.
Yep.
Have a great week, folks, and goodbye.
All right.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye. Good night. Good grammar.
Bye.